Students, in the previous class, we have discussed different routing algorithms, and we have also discussed the last one, that is the hierarchical routing. Can somebody remember this? Why we use this hierarchical routing? What was the advantage of using this? In the earlier case, like it can be distance vector routing or in link state routing. Every router has to maintain the information about all the routers. That was a big headache. So what they thought of doing it is consider the set of routers and make them or distribute those routers in terms of regions, or if the regions are not sufficient, make them as clusters, or not clusters and make them as zones, and so on, so that the information that has to be updated every time there is a change in the router, or there is a change in the transmission line, or when it finds the shortest path, the maintaining of information becomes very easy. Like in this case, you might have observed that uh, router maintains all the information, or it contains the transmission line for every router and how many hops are required. That's nothing but the time delay, or it can be measured in terms of hops or the distance and so on. But when we consider the hierarchical routing, we can have for every region only one connection is sufficient. For example, in this case, you can observe that we have 1A, 1B, 1C. So all 1A, 1B, 1C are routers that are present at this particular region. So we have three information, three set of square boxes, and there we have the information. And whereas for the region 2, region 5, 4, 3, and so on, we are maintaining only one line. That is, if we want to send the information or the packet from 1A to 2B, or 1A to 2D, or say from 1A to 5D, and so on, we can have only one line. So that means if we can send this from 1A to 1B, and it will reach to the 2A region. From 2A, it can be considered, or when it reaches the region 2, it is the responsibility of the region 2 to find it. I had also given the example that suppose you want to go to any particular friend in a different city and you don't know exact locality or exact address. So what you will do, you go to that particular city, and near there will be a landmark. So reach that landmark, and then by trying some alternative options, you can get the, or you can reach the exact destination. This is one important concept that we have learned, that is about the hierarchical routing. So now we are left out with only one routing, that is the shortest path routing. But for that shortest path routing, little calculation, other things are required. So as of now, not be taking that. Once we start with the offline classes on the board, it will be good to explain. So I will be taking in the offline classes, or if not possible, we can take a different session and then we can discuss it. So now we will be discussing about the important concepts, or the second part of this first unit. We will be discussing about the network layer in the internet. So till now, whatever we have discussed about the network layer is all in terms of its functionalities. So what are the basic functionalities of the network layer? Can somebody tell me what is the most important functionality of the network layer? What is the basic functionality of the network layer? Yes. What all we have studied till now in network layer? Different types of what we have studied. Yes. What is the basic task of a network layer? Why we are learning these different algorithms? What is our objective? Routing, right? Yes or no? What is the basic task of the network layer? It is routing. So we have studied the different routing algorithms as well. We have studied like adaptive and non-adaptive algorithms, and again different categories of non-adaptive and adaptive algorithm we have studied. But this is all in general. But we know that the network layer transfers the packets, when it collects the information from the data layers, where the information will be in terms of frames, and then the network layer, it is all about routing the packets. And we know that there are different types of subnets and other things are involved in that. So network is basically a collection of heterogeneous systems, or we can say that it is a collection of large subnetworks or large autonomous system, we can say. So in the network layer, we are going to study about the IP protocol. The most important protocol that is required is the internet protocol. So it has got two versions, IPv4 and IPv6. And then we'll be studying about the IP addresses and internet control protocols. So this is what we are going to study now. So I want your interaction as of now. Let's study with the concept. So whenever we talk about the network layer, or whenever we talk about the internet, it is just not invented. Like, we will discuss what is the invention, what is the evolution. When we say the computer, it was not just invented, but it has been evolved over the years or evolved over the periods. Like we can say currently we are at the 5th generation or beyond the 5th generation of computers we have. So when the computer was invented, it was not had, or it was not having all the features. Later on, as and when there was different generations, some features got added and some functionality has got added and the drawbacks have been removed and so on. Similarly, in the concept of internet also, it has been evolved over the generations, or it has been evolved over the different decades we are studying about the internet. Like if you go back 30 years back when internet was started or it was commercialized, it didn't have all the features in it. Slowly we added or we started including different features and different functionalities and so on. So the objective of the network developers, or the, we can say the designers, they had some principles in mind. Or whenever you want to develop something, you will have some set of principles so that it can be adaptable in future as well. Okay, so like we could talk about evolution. So what is evolution? Evolving generations. So at every generation, we will have different set of activities, or we will have different set of uh, programs in our fest. Similar to that, internet has been evolved over the different generations. When the designers thought of developing or evolving or starting with this internet concept, they had few principles. What are the few principles that they thought of? The first principle says is make sure it works. So whenever we want to implement something, or whenever we want to start with something, we need to understand that it should work. That means it should not, or when you start with the internet, or when we start with the networking of collection of, or sending and receiving of the information with the different subnets and networks and so on, our first objective is that it should work. That means it should be able to handle the traffic and it should not be hanged, or it should not face any issues later on. Next is what? Keep it simple. Like at the first generation itself, we cannot have all the features in it. And if you try to include more number of features or functionalities, it will be a burden for the uh, development. So add only few features and make it simple one. So whenever you want to implement the network, try to make it a simpler one. Do not try to add all the difficult features or all the features in it. Next is make clear choices. So there can be different alternative options for some particular concepts or for some particular methods. Like we can have, say, different algorithms are available to choose the best route. So when we have the different choices, it depends on the type of objective we want to reach, or what is our objective, or what is our outcome. Based on their outcome, we have to select a particular option. Like when we want to do, say when I want to send the packet to every other router in the node or in the subnet, I can use the flooding. If I want to use, or if I want to reduce that, I can use hierarchical routing, or we can use the distance vector routing and so on. So we have to make clear choices. Next is the exploit modularity. So what is the meaning of modularity? What is the meaning of modularity or modules? What is the basic meaning of a module or a function? We can say in C programming or any programming language, we can have certain set of functions. Similarly, when we want to design this, or the designers thought of starting with the internet, they thought of we should make them in a modular fashion. That means we can have different sub modules, or we can have different, like for example, OSM model, we can have different layers, and every layer is responsible for certain set of activities or certain set of services. So we have to make modularity. And next, expect the heterogeneity. Heterogeneity in the sense, like homogeneous means it is similar or it is same. But when we say heterogeneity, heterogeneity should exist in the internet. That means few people may be using local area network, some of them may be using wide area network or metropolitan area network, and so on. So there are different types of networks can be available, or different types of topologies may be involved, or different requirement in terms of speed and its accuracy, error control mechanism, and so on. So that has to be designed in the internet. Next is avoid static options and parameters. Like some options may be static or say some temporary. So such things to be avoided. And look for a good design. It need not be perfect. We cannot have a internet or the connection of subnets and so on, where we cannot have a best one, or we can say that we can have a good design. It may not be perfect one initially, but later we can improvise it, or we can improve it. We can add some features into it. Next one is be strict when sending and tolerant when receiving. So whenever we want to send the information, or when we want to send the packets, we should be very strict that it should reach the proper destination, or it should reach the same destination, and so on. Or we should have that bandwidth should be same. Like this, when we are sending the information, we should be very strict, but we should be tolerant when receiving the information. Like when we send the information, or when we send the packets to the destination, in the traveling, or during the transmission, the network may get disturbed, or it may have to face some congestion, or there can be uh, network traffic. So in such situation, the network should be able to retransmit the packets. So that is what, if there is any errors, there should be possible option of retransmitting or receiving the signals, or receiving the packets again and again. So we should be very strict in sending, but we should be tolerant, or we should be flexible when receiving the packets. Next is the think about the scalability. Scalability means what? Like for example, in our GCC, we have this particular approach, that is scalability. Earlier we had only 100 students. Later on we had 150 students. Then we had 200 students. So that means whenever you are designing similar to the internet, you have only few features initially, but work with them. Have some prototype modules. Let the prototype works properly, and later on you can add different features, and you can add the different functionality. Not only the in terms of functionalities. Initially, you can have say connection of 50 computers, but it should be in such a way that later on, if I want to include 100 or 1,000 or lakhs of computers, it should be able to handle it, or it should be able to uh, have such a setup. So that is what again we can consider it as the heterogeneity. And then consider the performance and the cost. So whenever we want to implement, or whenever the designers thought of implementing the internet or the interconnection of networks, and they had the thought of we should have the good performance. Performance should be good, but with the less cost. So in by considering all these design principles or by guidelines, they thought of coming with the concept of the internet. Are we getting it, everyone? Are we following this? PT LRA, Sana Kopchat. Are we following
Yes,
this?
sir.
Any doubts here? Anybody has any doubts? These are some of the basic principles, or we can say the design principles for the internet. So when the designers thought of coming up with the internet, they had these principles in their mind. Now, when I talked about this heterogeneity, let us understand the concept of internet in a more broader way. Like in this diagram is a collection of sub networks, we can say. The internet is an interconnected collection of many networks. So when I say the internet, what is the actual meaning of internet is all about? We can say that it is a collection of our large computers, or we can say that it is basically a collection of a heterogeneous system, or we can also call it as an autonomous system. And basically internet means it is the collection of internetworks. Internet means what? There can be different types of networks, and these networks are connected together, and that is what we call it as the internet. So internet is basically a collection of many networks, or collection of, or we can say networks of networks, or we can say it is basic meaning we can go like this. Internet is basically a collection of huge sub networks, or we can say it is the collection of internetworks, or we can say that it is interconnectivity, or uh, interaction of different or many networks which are very robust, and or which are very strong in handling the information. When we say that internet, usually what comes to in your mind? Usually we think that we should have the internet connection. We open the Google website, we can send the information, or we can search some data and so on. It is not only just that. The data can be a text, it can be an email, it can be a chat message, and so on. But to handle such different information, we should have the physical setup that is required basically. So we can say that internet is an interconnected collection of many networks. Now let us say that we have this particular subnetwork, or we can say that it is a diagram for the internet is an interconnected collection of many networks. Like you can say that here we have the Ethernet LAN, here we have token ring, we have the Ethernet line here, we have something called as backbone, we have something called as leased transition lines, translink lines. This is something in Asia, this is something in Europe, a national network, regional network, and so on. So when we actually want to transmit the data, it will pass through different transmission lines and different subnets. It is not just like, suppose say that I want to send the data from Belgium, that is located in India, to somewhere say in Germany or France in Europe. Okay, because we have something called as Europe backbone here. So it is not directly sent. Whenever the packet is sent, or when the information is being transferred, it will go through different sub networks, or it will go to different transmission lines. So like you can see that here we have a computer here, that is source, that is one, and we have the destination, that is host. So both the source machine and the destination machine are connected to the local Ethernet LAN, or local area network. And then we have a regional router. This is the A indicates it's a local router. Say from this can be my college or my organization or office. So from this, it will go to the regional network. Regional network may be located at Karnataka or head of the state, that is in Bangalore, and so on. Again, in this, we can see that there are different routers are present, and to that it is connected to something called as the backbone, or lease lines to Asia, and then it is, or these are these differentiation you can make it out. The routers that are present here and which are connected by links or transmission lines are very thick as compared to this. There are these lines are very thin and these lines are very thick. Why? Because these regional networks and these national networks are connected to something, say, or we can call it as the backbone. What is the backbone? Basically, in our human body, what is the backbone? So if you have the backbone stable, then you can stand, you can walk, you can do work, and so on. All the activities you can do if you have a proper backbone, or if the backbone is very strong. So when the information is being transferred, it will go through different transmission lines, different routers, or we can say the different subnets. And in that, it will pass through different routers, and then it will reach the destination. So backbone is basically a strong network, we can say, or a large network made up of very high speed and very strong, and it has got a very high speed of data transmission. That we can call it as a backbone. So if say we are transmitting the information through US, okay, so we can have a US backbone. If it is transmitted through the European countries, so we can have European backbone. In Asia, we can have Asian backbone, and so on and so forth. And then it will reach through US, it will reach the European backbone, and then it will reach the regional network or the national network, Europe or say France or Germany, and then it will reach the local router, which is present at Germany office or at France office or in the college, and then it will reach the destination. Are you getting the broader concept of the network? I mean, broader concept of the internet, everyone? Are we following this? Manisha, Manita, are we following this? Yes or no? No response. Okay. So now you can observe that the internet is a collection of huge sub networks. We can say it is not just over a source device and destination device. It has got a collection of such large subnets, and you can see that here we are using a token ring LAN, and in some cases you may be using uh, different topology. Here we are using the ring topology. In some situation, we may use bus topology. We may use star topology, and so on. So in the case of internet, it is an autonomous system which is having a heterogeneity in it. That means it is not same everywhere. We have different types of routers, different capabilities. We have different topologies. We have different connection endpoints, and so on and so forth. We have different backbones with different capacities, and so on and so forth. So when information is transferred in terms of packets, it will go through all these local routers to the regional routers, then through the backbones, and then through the backbones of other countries or uh, other subnets, and then again it will reach the destination with the proper destination. So to follow all this, why we are studying this? Because when we want or when we have the different structure, that is the structure is not same everywhere. So to manage the transmission of packets or the information, we should have some proper guidelines or we should have some proper protocols. And the most common or the important protocol that is required to do this all operation is called as the internet protocol. Yes or no? So like we can say that here we have different types of routers, or if you can have say different types of subnets are present here. So to consider all this, we should follow some standard rules, or we should follow some standard guidelines so that the information can be transmitted in a more proper way. So for that, a protocol or a set of guidelines or a set of rules are required. That is our internet protocol. So that is the standard protocol that we use to transmit the information or to transmit the packets. In terms of networking, so we are using the term packets, or but basically when we go in detail, rather than calling them as packets, we call them as the datagrams. That will be a more efficient word rather than considering it as the packet. So after studying all this, we know that internet protocol is a essential protocol that is required to connect to the internet and to transmit the information. So in the coming classes, we will be studying about the IP versions, internet protocol versions. So it has got two versions, IPv4 and IPv6. Currently, as of now, we are using the IPv4 protocol, and the future is all about the IPv6. So we are going to study about the IP header structures with version v4 and with version v4. So that we will be studying. Are we clear with this concept, everyone? Anybody has any doubts? Any doubts here till now, whatever we have discussed? Shweta, is this clear to you? If you don't interact and don't discuss, then there is no scope for this subject. These are very, very important things. But this is the structure, or this is the packet format of IPv4 protocol. So in internet protocol, that is IP protocol, we have two versions, IPv4 and IPv6. So this is the format. Like we have studied about the different protocols, like we have studied about the frame relay. Okay, we have studied about the ATM. Okay, we have studied about the SONET and so on. So they had got different frame structure in that. So similarly here we had the packet format. So what the packet format will be? So we are going to study about the headers. Okay. So let me make you clear what is a IP header. So this diagram indicates the IPv4 header or the IP header. So basically, if I consider this as a packet, consider this as the data packet. Okay, there will be two parts. One we can call it as the data, and the next one we will be having is the header. So when we consider this as a packet, we will have two things. One is the actual data that we want to transmit, and the next one is the header. Why the header is required in the OSM model also we have studied. Header includes like the source address, destination address. Okay, all those information will be included in the header. So in this particular diagram, we are going to study in detail only about the header, not about the data, because data is the information that you want to send it. So if you consider this entirely as a packet or the datagram, it will have the header. So this header consists of what all things is being displayed in this particular structure or the format we can say. So this entire diagram is the packet format for the IP protocol. Are we getting it, everyone? So this is the IPv4 packet format. So how the header consists of, or what is the structure of that header? So basically, this header consists of 32 bits. The length of this uh, basic header is of 32 bits. That means if you consider this, we have how many rows? Let us count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows, and then the last one we have the sixth one. So every row is made up of 32 bits, or we can say a group of 5 words. A word means how many bits, or how many bits equal to 1 byte? Can you tell me how many bits equal to 1 byte? Yes. Sana, can you tell me how many bits equal to 1 byte? Class answered 8 bits equal to 1 byte. So now, and that 1 byte we can call it as a word. So here we have the 32 bits. So it is made up of 5 words we say. So every row can be considered as a word. So here we have first row, second row, third row, and fourth and fifth. And the last one we indicated with the tilde symbol. This indicates that this field is an optional one. It can be included or it can be discarded. But this one, whatever we have, is the fixed length of the header. So what is the fixed length of the header? This much. So now if you consider, every row is made up of 32 bits. So 5 rows together. So 32 bit means how many bytes it will be? 8 bits equal to 1 byte. So 32 bits equal to 4 bytes. Very good. So in this case, we have first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and fifth row. So every row is of 4 bytes. So total 4 into 5 rows. So how many bytes together we can have? Every row is of 4 bytes because every row is made up of how many bits? 32 bits. So 32 bits equal to how many bytes? 4 bytes. So every row is made up of 4 bytes. So how many rows we can have here? 5 rows. So 5 into 4. How many it will be? What can be the length of the header? 20 bytes. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That means the fixed length. So from here to here, we call it as the fixed length of the header. So the fixed length of the header is of 20 bytes. Whereas the optional part, so this optional part, it can be 0 or it can be maximum. Or in general, we can say it is maximum up to 40 bytes. Okay, so this optional field can be included or it can be discarded depending on the information or depending on the requirement. So this fixed size is of 20 and this can be maximum. So this can be maximum 40. Okay, so if you consider this total together maximum 40 and this fixed is 20. So what should be the maximum size of packet? The maximum size of the packet can be 20 plus 40, it will be 60. Suppose say that I'm taking 4 bytes in the optional field. Okay, so option field can be maximum up to 40 bytes. But if I consider 4 bytes, what should be my size? This is 20 is fixed and this I have added 4. What will be the size of the header now? What will be the size of the header? This fixed one is 20 and here I am considering it as 4 bytes. The optional part can be minimum 0, maximum it can be 40 bytes. For my example, I'm considering it as 4. So what will be the size now? Fixed size cannot be changed. It is 20 and this is 4. Together how much it will? It will be. What will be the size now? It's 20 plus 4. How much it will be?
24.
Suppose say if I take it as this fixed size is 20 and this if I take 8 bytes, what will be the size? What will be the size now? This is 20 and this is 8. So what will be the size now? What will be the size? Twenty plus 8, how much it will be now? See how to take interest and I'm trying my best to make you understand these things. So it will be how much? 28. Very good. So this is the basic things you should know about the IP protocol, that is the header structure or the header format we can say. So I just repeat, every row is made up of 32 bits. So we have 5 rows here. So every row is of 32 bit means what? Every row is of 4 bytes. So the maximum we can have 5 rows here. So it will be 20 bytes and this is the optional part. Optional part can take up to 0 to 40 bytes. And in that we have different sections here, something called as version, IHL, type of service, total length, and so on. So in the examination, this is the most important question, can be asked for 8 to 10 marks. So you should be able to draw the diagrams and explain every field. We call it as the field. The first field that we have is the version. So if you consider this entirely half part, so entirely it is 32. Out of this, if you consider only from here to here, it will become how much? 16. Okay. In that, again, we have the half part. So this will become how much? This will become 8 bits. This will become 8 bits. So again, in that 8 bits, the first one we have is the version. That version indicates whether it is the IPv4 or IPv6. So it indicates the version. We'll stop here. We will continue in the next class.